Hey bookaholics, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review of This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This was a really good book. I enjoyed it a lot. It had a unique aspect to it. I'm not a big fan of monster kind of plot lines, at least lately. Like I used to love vampires and werewolves and those kinds of stories, but it kind of not my go-to things now because it just not interests me. But this one has been given a lot of high reviews and I've seen a lot of booktubers reviewing it, so I thought I would give it a try when I saw it at the library, and I was very surprised. I wasn't too sure what to expect from it because even the synopsis isn't all that forthgiving of what this is all about, so I was kind of going in blind. I had no idea what to expect, but I actually really enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 4 or 4.5 out of 5 because it took me a lot to get right into the book because it was a new world and I didn't quite understand how it worked. I knew there's monsters, but I had no idea what they were doing in the world. And at the same time, when it first started, Kate was trying to get back into the city, and I wasn't too sure what her father had anything to do with it, and I didn't know what was really going on when they're going back into the city. The cop was like angry that he had to come pick her up. I didn't know what the world was, so it took me a little bit to get into it. But after I kind of understood what the world was doing, and August was brought in. August is my favorite character out of this book, and once he was brought in and he kept on being like a big character in this book, I really enjoyed it. Like, I wasn't too sure what to expect from this, so it beat my expectations, to be honest. So I'm really happy I found this library and I decided to borrow it. This Savage Song, it follows two characters, so Kate Harker and August Flynn. When I first read the synopsis, I wasn't too sure how they would meet. In the synopsis, Kate is trying to prove herself to her father, but it doesn't exactly explain what she's trying to prove, so I wasn't too sure what to expect from that. But as it kept going, you kind of learn that she is just wanting to prove that she is worthy of being in this city and being with her father, and that's why she's trying to get out of all these other schools that he sent her to outside of the city, and now she's finally back within the city. That's kind of how we get introduced to August as well. So August is the son of, I can't remember his first name, but he's the son of a Flynn who is the rival or like the enemy of Kate Harker's father. So that's kind of how they kind of meet in this little rivalry. I won't explain how that comes about because that's a spoiler, but that's kind of how they kind of get to know each other. So August Flynn, he is a monster, but he doesn't want to be. He wants to be human. Throughout this novel, his pursuit is to be human and not turn into what they're expected to be. He doesn't want to meet the expectation of a monster that he is perceived as, and that is kind of his whole thing, and that is how he kind of gets close to Kate because, yeah, I'm not gonna say because why. So, as I already said, August was my favorite. He was just so humble. I just really liked him as a character, and I just really liked how he was so persistent of wanting to be human. Like, he didn't want his monster within him to, like, control him. He wanted to be his own person. He didn't want to be just a monster. He wanted to be a human, and I really liked how he kept that standard up, like, even with his family around, especially one of his siblings. I'm not going to explain who, but he didn't fall away from that ideal. He wanted to be a human, and he wanted to show that even though he is a monster because of who he was, how he was created, he doesn't want that to be his identification. So I really liked that. I also liked how he was a violin player because you don't see violin players much anymore. So I really liked how his go-to music instrument was a violin. I really liked that. Kate as a character, I did like her. There were some times where I wasn't too sure like what side she was on, which I think was very, very well done by the author. But as a character herself, it was kind of like I wasn't too sure what to expect. I wasn't too sure if she was the enemy or what she would be. But I eventually did like her. She became her own kind of person. She wasn't just set on proving herself to her father. She ended up having her own kind of voice and figuring out for herself what she actually wanted to prove, whether she wanted to be a good guy or a bad guy. So I really liked how she grew from meeting August and figuring out how the city works. So I really liked that. I also liked how there was kind of like a hint of a romance in here, but it wasn't like followed through. There was no actually set kind of romantic feelings between them. They kind of just like had a friendship relationship at the moment in this book, and I really liked how that wasn't the main thing in this book, because I've seen so many novels where they have like this big thing they have to go after, and then they kind of fall in love, and then the big thing is not as big anymore because they're in love. And it's not really all that true, because whether you're in a romantic relationship or not, that big thing is always going to be there. So I really liked how there's no real romantic stuff going on in this book quite yet in this series. I'm really excited to see what happens in the next book that's coming out pretty soon. I don't think any of that stuff was spoilery. I really hope not, but I really did like this book. As I said, I gave it like 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a little bit slow to get into, but once I actually understood how the world worked, I really enjoyed this book. This is a highly recommended book. It's very good, and I can't wait until the next book comes out. I want to see where Kate and August's story goes, and that is all I'm going to say about this book. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Comment of what you thought about this book if you read it, or if you want to read it. Kind of give your own thoughts on this book down in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Check out my other social media accounts, my Facebook, Twitter, and Goodreads. I make a video every Thursday, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!